I'm Renee Suban. I'm an educator at the Douglas J. Aveda Institute in Royal Oak. Let me show you how educational technology is important. We're going to start out by using our imagination. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds and imagine a chicken crossing the road. Okay. When I say a chicken crossing the road, this is what I'm talking about. How many of you have seen that?
No. Not at all.
No.
What are some things that you guys seen?
Saw a bear fly at like a barn or something.
Saw a farm,
Yeah.
more trees.
Right. So would you guys agree that when I said the chicken was crossing the road, that we're not all thinking the same image?
Yeah.
Right. So by using something as powerful as a picture, you can get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Who would have thought the chicken would have shoes on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this is not exactly what you guys imagined. There are so many different visual technologies that we can use. There are smart boards, there's YouTube, iPads, cell phones, flip charts, even things simple like mannequin heads. There's so many different means of technology and we have available to us today. So many. A lot visual. So let me tell you a story about a time when I had a class and I had some bilingual students in my class and I was lecturing to them and they could not understand what I was saying. The project we were working on was not clicking with them at all. It was not making any sense whatsoever. So I decided to pull out some visual aids. In that situation, I used mannequin heads. So I got the mannequin heads out, we got the students all together, we gathered around and had a visual and did some hands-on with a mannequin, and then suddenly all these words that I was saying made sense. So they could put the visual with it. So it really helps. Another example would be I was teaching a class of hair cutting, and we were going to cut 1 inch off the mannequin heads, and nobody really knew what 1 inch was. So I had all of the students walk up to the front board and write down what they thought, like just draw a line, what they thought 1 inch was. Then I pulled out a ruler and brought it up to the board and measured the lines, and do you know not one student in the class had 1 inch correct?
Wow.
So our educational technology can be as simple as a ruler. It doesn't have to be as complex as a smart board or some high-tech electrical equipment. It can be as simple as a ruler or a mannequin head or something like that. So let's review some facts. According to My Lady's standard book for the educator, the average learner thinks 400 to 500 words per minute. Did you know that?
No.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And the average educator speaks 110 to 160 words per minute. That's a lot too. Fast talker.
Right.
So what do you think's happening between the 290 to 340 minutes in between there? There's a little gray area. What are you thinking about?
Like plans for the night, what things are going on like that day usually.
My mind's wandering. Like it's not on the subject. It's everywhere else but the subject.
Right.
Right. So I think you guys could agree that we need to fill in that gap with something, right?
Yeah.
We need to get their attention somehow. So why not use educational technology to fill in the gaps? It's also said that 75% of what we learn is visually. 75%. That's huge. Another reason to use educational technology. 3%, you can increase that by, excuse me, I'm sorry. You can increase that by 3 times with words. So by me telling you something, I have it typed up here, you can see it, 3 times more effective. Okay? It's 6 times more effective when you add a picture to it. Like in the next slide, a picture really is worth 1,000 words. Will you ever think of the chicken the same?
No. Probably not.
Probably not. And then 13% of what we learn is by hear, taste, touch. So another reason why hands-on with a mannequin can be powerful with a visual. So with all of this that we went over today and learned, write down 3 things that you have learned today. And now circle the top out of the 3, the top thing that you learned today. Okay, now let's share what our top favorites were.
Mine is that when you combine words with the visual aids, it becomes 6 times more effective. So that's a huge increase.
Hey, well, for me, I thought it was interesting that that visual aid is like 75% more effective than anything else, which I thought would like be touch, because I thought most people like use their hands like when they were learning something. So I didn't know that it was like that big of a difference between touch and just like visual aids alone.
Right.
I learned that visual aids help keep everyone on the same track. Because I never thought about it before that with just words your mind can wander. But
Right.
with seeing the visual aid, everybody knows exactly what is going on.
Right.
I feel like visual aids keeps the conversation interesting. You know, the conversation between the teacher and the students, like a lot more interesting with visual aids than it would be with just words.
Right. Yeah, those are all great. Exactly. So, what do you think? What are some visual aids that you have used before?
YouTube videos.
PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Mannequin
a lot of
head.
mannequin heads.
Especially with what we're in school for and what we're, you know, in the field of visual aids is really helpful to anyone, even the most novice of us all, you know.
Right. Right. So I think we would all agree that with educational technology, visual aids is probably one of the #1 things. Right? Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So it's also good for language barriers, keeping everyone on track, like you guys had mentioned. With visual aids and technology, you can create a clearer picture, and there's many different ways to provide that with all the access to everything that we have today. So, thank you for your time. Let me show you how we can better educate with visual aids. Have a great day.